So today we're going to learn how to solve two-step linear equations. Solving an equation basically means finding the value for x or values of x. Sometimes there's two, but for the most part we're going to be solving for one. So let's make a basic example here. 2x minus 3 equals 1. Basic equation. First thing you want to try to do is get the x's on the left side, or the variables. In this case it's x, so we want to get this x on the left side and everything else on the right side. So what we're going to do first is 2x, I'm going to rewrite it. Over here, if we go minus 3 plus 3, what we're doing here is adding 3 to this side of the equation here. If we're doing that to actually we can call this left side, if I can squeeze it in there, and right side. Whatever we do to the left side of the equation, we have to do to the right, because that's what an equation is. It's like a balance. So if we throw the equal sign in here, since we added 3 here, immediately add 3 to that side. We rewrite this. Minus 3 plus 3 gives you 0. So we'll just leave that. 1 plus 3 is 4. Now we're back to our most simple equations where there's no addition signs on either side. And that's fairly easy to do. If we want to isolate x again, what we can do is multiply this side by a half and multiply this side by a half. Now a lot of people say, well, why can't I just divide by 2? You can, but if this was a fraction like 2/3, it becomes much more problematic, and I think this is a much better way to learn it and understand it, and it works much better in general. So we multiply this side by half and this side by half. Because it's an equation, if we do that, we're not changing anything. So this cancels out. We have 1x, which is the same as x, so we can rewrite x. 4 times a half is 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Fairly simple. That's it for now for this one. We shall continue in a second and do slightly more complicated ones. Now, once you have your x equals 2, that's your answer. Now, it's always good this is a fairly simple equation and there's not much going on here. But if you had something a little more complicated, you might always want to test your value of x equals 2. Plug it back into the equation, basically substitute this x with the answer 2, and see if the equation balances out. So let's try that. So the left side, right side, here we have 2 times, we got the value of 2 for x, minus 3 is equal to 4 minus 3, which is equal to 1. That's the left side, and the right side we see is 1. Left side equals right side. There, you've checked your answer. Not much to it. Let's take it up a notch now. Let's introduce a fraction into the situation. So let's try 3k over 4 equals 9. Now again, actually here's a good sample of where we have a fraction, and dividing, you can divide this side by by 3/4 and this side by 3/4. That's a little more difficult to understand. So we're going to use the idea that if you have a fraction, any fraction, and you multiply by its reciprocal is just the fraction flipped around, right? What happens is you can cancel out and that becomes 1. So we're going to use that idea over here. What we're going to do is we see that we have 3/4 times k here. Really, we can write this out, by the way. Really, it's the same as having 3/4 times k equals 9. that little black dot is a multiplication sign, so as not to confuse it with the letter X when you're using algebra. So if we have 3/4 times k equals 9, I'll rewrite it here. 3/4 times k equals 9. I have a reciprocal here, or I have a fraction here, and I can use this idea over here to, if I multiply by a reciprocal, as long as I multiply here by a reciprocal, then we can easily cancel this out and continue. And then we'll have k isolated, right? Because in the end, we're always trying to get isolating the variable. That's what we're always trying to do. So always remember that when you're doing these equations. So that cancels out there, 3, 4. We have k alone. This all, by the way, simplifies to 1. 1 times k is k. So we can write k here equals, and then we just do the math here. Actually, we have some simplification here. 3 times 4 equals 12. And of course, you should check your values. So let's put in 3 times 12 divided by 4 is equal to, let's just check that out. 12 times 3 is 36 divided by 4 equals 9. So this is my left side that I'm checking here. And I can see that the right side of my equation is equal to 9, which is the right side. So we're good.